I'm back with my sous chef Bella making some chicken marsala, right? Okay, honey, come on, get to work. So at the beginning of every year, after the holidays, I'm feeling a little bit like I want to eat a little lighter, but I still want to eat food, right? I tend to go a little cleaner, a little healthier, and a lot of times for a little while, gluten-free. Two of my favorites are chicken marsala, gluten-free chicken marsala, and my chicken parm. It's like a skinny chicken parm. So today, I'm gonna show you how to make two of them. We're gonna start with the chicken marsala. This is a gluten-free chicken marsala because we're gonna use rice flour instead of regular flour, but the rest is awesome and it's all the same. There is no dairy in it. We're gonna use some marsala wine to give it lots of flavor, hence the name chicken marsala. Different types of mushrooms for texture and a little bit of fresh thyme to really kind of bring home that herbal flavor. So you're not missing any flavor, but you're gonna feel a lot lighter. And that's what I'm looking for. I am a true lover of shallots. I think since I spent time, yes, Bella. Since I spent time in cooking in Paris, I've sort of fallen in love with shallots. They're sweeter, they're milder, they don't make me cry as much when I'm cooking, so I tend to love them. But of course, onion works here too. So we've got our shallot. We're gonna do 2 shallots, a couple of cloves of garlic. Clearly I'm having one of those days. There we go. And now my eyes are watering slightly. Remember when I said that I like shallots because they don't make my eyes water? I take that back. Just let me know if it looks like I'm literally gonna cry into the shallots. As for chopping, I think just learning to really have control over the knife may have been the toughest. Why are you acting so skittish? Bella is like, what's the matter, Bells? What is going on with you? Honey. Oh, she's gonna plop herself right here. Okay, shallots are done, so we can probably get those in the pan. We're gonna start chopping some mushrooms. Bells, you gonna watch me learn how to do that? So depending on what mushrooms you get, you can use all different kinds of mushrooms. Shiitakes and baby bellas are sort of my favorite for this. These are shiitakes right now that I'm chopping and slicing, but if you can't find it, just use whatever mushrooms you like. These are oyster mushrooms. Also, it's kind of a chewy, meaty kind of texture, which I really like. So I like to do assorted, and I just kind of go to the store and see what they've got. All right, so for the chicken, 2 breasts, pounded, not super thin, but just butterfly them so they're flat. So I have 4 pieces because I cut the breasts in half. So now we're gonna season them with a little bit of salt, my Tuscan salt. Sprinkle it with a little bit of rice flour. So instead of regular all-purpose flour, which is what you usually use for chicken marsala, I'm using rice flour just to make it gluten-free. And it does exactly the same thing. It will thicken the sauce exactly like all-purpose flour, but it'll be a lot easier on your system. So we're gonna flip it, and we're gonna just season the other side. So let's get it in a hot pan. Oop, yeah, it's nice and hot. And what we wanna do is get a nice crust on the outside of the chicken. Don't worry about it being completely cooked through because we'll finish cooking it in the marsala once we've created the sauce. But right now we just want some color. And really the color is just for flavor, just so the chicken has a really nice sort of deep caramelized flavor. We have some olive oil in the pan that we're using to brown the chicken and give it a little pain de soleil, as I like to call it. And we're gonna sneak this guy right in the middle. All right, so while the chicken cooks, since I'm sort of in a gluten-free moment, I'm gonna make a little bit of gluten-free pasta to go with the chicken. The chicken's great just on its own. You could make it, serve it with rice. You could serve it with gluten-free pasta, potatoes. But right now, I'm gonna make it with some casariche, gluten-free casariche. And the pasta will sort of soak up all the flavor. We're just gonna do a little bit here, not a lot. About half a box, yeah. We're gonna add a little bit more oil because the flour absorbs a lot of that oil. All right, here we go. We're gonna take the chicken out, shallots and garlic with the marsala. I'm gonna add a little bit of oil. a little bit of salt. And when I add the salt, it sort of allows the moisture in the shallot to sort of slowly get released so it softens. Instead of getting like crispy, it gets soft, which is what you want, because you want it to melt into the marsala sauce. A little bit of salt. And you might need some more olive oil because mushrooms are sponges and they absorb everything you add to it. So sometimes if there's a little bit of oil left in the pan, a lot of times it isn't quite enough. Okay, let's let these babies cook for a little bit. Let's try the pasta again. 1 more minute. Oh, I love this pasta. For being gluten-free, it's got a nice, holds its texture, and it's got a nice bite to it. Okay. You can really grip it. You want to let the marsala wine just evaporate and kind of pick up all the little bits on the bottom of the pan. Gets it kind of creamy. And now that it's reduced, time for the chicken broth. And we're going to create a great sauce. And we're going to do a cup of chicken broth. And a lot of times I like to make my own. I didn't have any today. So I'm just using a low sodium chicken broth. And I like to take the time. Oh, this smells so good. And I just take a little bunch and I put it directly in here. You can take all of the leaves off and chop them and dump them in. But for me, I just prefer sticking the whole stem in and then I can take out the whole stem. I feel like it's easier and it perfumes the whole sauce. So now that the sauce is reduced for just a couple minutes, you can start to see it's thickening. I'm gonna put the chicken back in and we're gonna let it finish cooking and all the juices of the chicken. C'est fini. All right, so we'll lay the chicken down over here. Look at all this yummy mushroom ragu. You can put a little bit over the pasta. Okay, I'll admit, it's not the most beautiful dish I've ever made, but boy, oh boy, does it taste fabulous. Chicken marsala is just so flavorful. It's so comforting, it's like a giant hug. My chicken marsala dance. So now I'm going to show you how to make the second chicken dish that I just love, love, love. Super easy, my healthy chicken parm. So I made a quick little herb oil, olive oil, and some parsley from my garden, thyme from my garden, and guess what? Some rosemary from my garden too. Just to kind of give the chicken lots of flavor. Since we're using a cutlet, a chicken cutlet, you want to make sure and always give it as much flavor as possible. There we go. That's kind of the secret to cooking a little bit healthier, is that you use herbs to really add a lot of flavor to the food. And this is one of Jade's favorite chicken dishes. She requests it once a week. We're gonna get the pan sizzling hot before we put the chicken in it. So I'm gonna start there first. Now, let's finish the chicken, a little salt and a little pepper. I take the extra oil that's in the dish and I just kind of rub it all over the bottom side of the chicken cutlet. Make sure the pan's hot. It's hot. You want to hear a little sizzle. What I love about this dish as well is that you finish it under the broiler. So you get a nice golden brown cheesy crust on top of the chicken. And as you can see, because it's a healthier chicken parm, we're not doing any kind of breading. One more minute on this side, and then we're gonna turn off the heat and top it with all the goodies. And the trick here is, if you don't want to get covered with tomato sauce, then you gotta wait a minute to let this cool down a little bit. But I'm wearing red, so I figured we're kind of the same color if I get splattered, because the heat and the oil will make the tomato sauce splatter. So now what you want to do is top the chicken with a little bit of marinara. Whatever your favorite kind is, just make sure when you buy marinara that the first ingredient is tomato, that there isn't sugar in the first 3 ingredients. I'm going to put a little bit around the sides, a little bit of mozzarella, and I like the thick cut, just right on top. This is such a quick, easy, and delicious weeknight meal. You're gonna let the oven do most of the work for you. And then I just dab it with a little bit of butter right on top to help it tan up. And this is also gluten-free. There's no batter, so This makes it gluten-free as well. Honestly, I don't think you'll miss it. It's super light, super flavorful. I don't think you're gonna miss it. Let's put it in the oven, 500 degrees, broil on the top, finish cooking it for about 5 minutes. If this isn't the easiest recipe, it literally comes together in 10 minutes. Simple and delicious. My favorite. And I like to serve it with a gluten-free pasta or some kind of potato mash, even rice. Sometimes I even do crusty bread. Anyway, just to sop up all of the tomato sauce, which is super tasty. I'm gonna link both the recipes, and I'd love to know which one you guys enjoy more. All right, buon appetito.